In a case which has sort of shades of Assange and questionable legal precedents, frankly, the Tate brothers have again been arrested in Romania, and this time they are under as sort of the umbrella of extradition to the UK on allegations, charges that date back to 2012 and 2015. They've been charged with organised criminal group activity. That's the 2021 stuff going on in Romania, the UK and the US. They reject all the charges, says a statement from them. But 4 British women have accused Andrew Tate particularly of serious offences, and an arrest warrant was issued by the Westminster Magistrates Court in London after the British women's solicitors received information that Tate was planning to flee to Romania. Of course, he then did exactly this, and they sought an arrest warrant for Tate in Romania to get him to be detained and extradited to the UK. This is from a statement by the women's lawyers McHugh and Jury and Partners LLP, who posted this information on Twitter today. The Tate brothers were cuffed at 11:15 last night for committing crimes exploiting people on the territory of Great Britain. It said 2 men presented to the prosecutor for the prosecutor's office attached to the Bucharest Court of Appeal, who ordered the measure for detention for 24 hours against those in question. They've been charged along with 2 Romanian women said to be part of a group. Now, what is extraordinary, I mean, how were they identified in Romania? Because they ordered a pizza, and because they've had quite a high profile on YouTube. And it's disturbing because there's an element where I feel that the law is being used to trap people rather than to pursue genuine justice. Now, it may be that genuine justice is being pursued, but that's not how it appears. And that is the problem. And the same thing can be said about Julian Assange. And frankly, the same thing can be said about Navalny. Now, in the case of Navalny, we know that real justice was not at stake. We know that these were spurious charges. In the case of Assange, it's not proven. And in the case of the Tate brothers, it's not proven. But the optics look bad, particularly in the light of what's been happening in Russia with Navalny and Karamurza and others. And if we want to stand up and say that we are better than these thugs in Russia, I don't think we're setting about it in the right way. I don't think we're setting an example of transparency and clarity. I think we're hiding behind a curtain of legal words where the law, certainly within the last 15 years, has moved towards a point where it's speaking a language which is not quite common English. The law is using words in a way that are no longer clearly identifiable. Words have become a sort of code which is only known to the lawyers who wrote that code. And that is not honest law. That is law by a nudge and a wink. And I think we should be resisting this. There used to be a movement called the Movement for Clear English, and it should be reignited at the moment, because no more do we need it than now. We need clarity and we need precision. We need to be pursuing law as if we were pursuing mathematics. And I think we get down to it by saying it's like that distinction between rhetoric and dialectic. Rhetoric is about passion. This is what's taught, for example, in the International Baccalaureate. Rhetoric, pathos, ethos, logos. It's all about an appeal to the emotions and using fancy language to pursue a subjective, to make a subjective point and to get a particular desired result given a series of real situations, as opposed to dialectic, which is much more abstract, which looks at thesis and antithesis and tries to look at ideas rather than the muddy reality. It tries to be objective. It tries to be scientific. Now, what we need is something which is somewhere in between. And I find it disturbing that rhetoric is the thing which is being promoted. I love rhetoric. I love somebody who can flash bang wallop through an argument simply by the use of language. But sometimes we have to look at what lies behind all the language, all the glitter. And that's about dialectic, that's about exchanging ideas and trying to get away from the muddy reality and look at the things, look at the ideas that lie behind that reality, and then apply those ideas. And even then, I don't think you particularly need to engage with rhetoric. Rhetoric is, frankly, it's a cheap bag of tricks. I love the bag of tricks. Don't be in any doubt about how much I love rhetoric and how much I love oracy, the skill of being able to persuade an audience. But I'm also only too well aware that it's a bag of cheap tricks. It's a sleight of hand. And le gendarme. It's nonsense. It's lovely nonsense, but it's nonsense. And we should be moving towards a skilled and analytical examination of problems. And particularly when it comes to law, we should be looking at facts and we should be using common language. And we certainly shouldn't be trying to trap people years after the event simply because we know where they are. And we know in Russia that if you're in the system, that's it. But I'm afraid we're getting to the point where if you're in the UK or if you're in the US, if you're in the system, that's it. That's not justice. That's vengeance.